What's good, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how I film real estate walkthrough videos. I'm going to give you my tips and tricks, and we've got a perfect house to do it on. So let's get started. What's good, guys? Welcome back. Ken here. You're watching Original Dobo, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how I film real estate walkthrough videos. We're out here in Orlando. We are at an investor's property. They just got done flipping this house. So it is perfectly staged, and it is probably the best canvas to show you how to do these videos on. And I'm holding a broom in my hand because before you even pick up a camera, you need to make sure that you spot check the house and clean it. Now, we don't have to deal with any personal effects like toothbrushes or toiletry on the countertops, but we do have some debris where they actually clean the floors. So if we look at the floors, there's like all these little specks, and in photos, it's not a big deal if this stuff gets picked up. But in video, we definitely don't want it. So we're just gonna go around, make sure all the lights are on, which we've got most of them on, but we wanna make sure we clean all the floors first. So the first thing I do when I show up at a house is I start doing photos on the house. I start with this first because it gives me a good layout of the land and sort of lets me understand how I want to piece together a video. So if you're not doing photos, regardless, still do a walk around. But this agent, or I should say investor, always wants photos. So we're gonna start in the living room because it's probably like the highlight of the house since it's so wide open. This is probably gonna take a little bit of time, maybe about 20, 30 minutes because it's such a small house. But by the time we're done, we should have a story together. So when we start filming, it's way easier. But like with a shoot like this, you can sort of be a little more artsy with it. Bathrooms can be difficult too, depending on the angles you're working with. You can't always get everything, but a wide enough lens really does help. Alrighty, so once you're done cleaning up the house and doing your interior photos like we just did, it's time to go into aerials. Now, I have to do aerial photos as well, but what I'm gonna do is also do the aerial video because my goal is to only have the drone up in the air once. It'll also let me see that downtown area. It's a little bit windy today, so hopefully that's not gonna be a problem. We're gonna be using the Autel Evo just because it's going to give us the least amount of restrictions, and it's just the easiest to fly. It's super wide, so I don't have to fly as high, and I can use that 4K 60 to sort of slow things down. So I've actually got the Evo 1 with me. It's not the Evo 2, so this is just the Evo 1. I'm gonna be using a ND16 because it is fairly bright out. I wanna keep that shutter speed just double my frame rate. And yeah, this should be fine. I don't have to really fly that far. And again, without having any restrictions or anything, I don't have to worry about the airspace, although the airspace here is clear, so, but you just never know when you're gonna fly if the restrictions will give you a problem with authorizations through the DJI app. So that's the reason why I'm using the Evo. But this shouldn't take too long. Get some shots, and then we're back inside to finish out the video. Oh yeah, so we're gonna shoot 4K 60 in the log profile. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm also going to use 4K, I'm gonna use log on the camera as well to try to match the colors up. So we're using HLG for everything else though. Hello? I'm sorry? We're not flying over your house. Okay, that's fine. Just to let you know, the airspace is FAA approved. We have your registration. Sorry, no, thank you. Go fuck yourself. So some people want to be like, oh, don't fly over my house because I own. Sorry, buddy, you don't own the airspace. We were nowhere near her house. We were actually, we were actually over this property when she saw it. And the last time I flew out straight over there. I mean, problem is the Evo is actually, in today's standards, pretty loud. Now, could I have handled that a different way? Maybe. Should I have? No. Because if they're going to take the hobby away, I'm just going to go down swinging. Right, but that's the reason why I try to do aerials all in one swift motion, because what's going to happen is you get in a situation like that, to get up it, right, to get a drone back up in the air is going to be a hassle. Yeah. Now, I'm shooting in 4K 24 frames per second. Now that gives me very limited room for error because I can't slow it down. I can't really do anything. Right. So I'm sort of at the mercy of whatever I shoot. So I'm gonna flip the screen up. Why you decided to use 24? Because it does look crispier. I wasn't going to, but then like Billy was giving me shit about not shooting in 4K, yeah. And it makes sense. You have more information. It shoots in 100 megabits. It just grades so much better. Yeah. All right. And we'll grab a shot of the backyard. And then what I've been trying to do is figure out creative ways to transition into a house. So you saw yesterday I did a video where I used a tree. So I'm gonna do something similar here like that. So for this video, for this shot, I'm just gonna push. Just like this, just push. Moving slow enough. And I may try something where I'm like up top like this, and then something like that. I don't know. All right, so that big tree out front is the perfect tree to try to do something like this on. So what I could do is I could start here. Now we'll start at the front of this here. So start like that. So I have to move all the way past this. All right. Let me see what that looked like. I think that was pretty bad actually. Slider, a long slider? That may have worked. I think that last one was it. No worries, we're just trying to get this house sold for them, so. Definitely not. Promise you we're not.
Watch yourself.
Just be careful.
Have a good one. Enjoy your day.
I'll leave it out of the video.
Recording.
All right. So when I'm usually doing these interior shots, I'm usually using hybrid log gamma for these shots, just because it gives like really nice soft tones. So for the exterior shots, we utilized, what did we use outside? We used S-Log2 for the exterior. So for all these shots in here, we're gonna use HLG2. And the reason why I'm using HLG2 is that for the most part, the color's already there and we shouldn't have to do too much work. I am overexposing by 1. It also will give really, really soft tones, and it's gonna have the least amount of noise. So let's go ahead and start with a couple of shots here. Oh, you know what? I made a boo-boo first because I'm inside and I have an ND filter on right now. So I'm taking the ND filter off, which will get rid of any sort of color cast that may be introduced by it. And I can actually sort of bump the aperture up a little bit, which I like bumping the aperture up, helps. All right, so I'm actually overexposed by too much. There we go, so that's good. I don't mind if we blow out the windows a little bit, but I don't want to blow them out entirely. So I'm going to start here. Something like that. And maybe we'll get the door, like come here like this, and we'll get these windows. Again, this is going to be more of an artsy style of a shoot. So we're going to sort of blow out the windows a little bit. Just some simple pans. You don't have to get all crazy and fancy with the movements. I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make, is that when they first start, they believe that they have to do crazy movements. Now for this angle here, what I'm doing is I'm just sort of looking at the histogram, making sure the shot's looking good, and exposure is at +1, and I'm gonna do like sort of a pull up over the couch here. Now normally this is fine, but with not shooting in 60 frames per second, I have to slow it down a little bit. So I have to myself right there. So I'm just like showing that we're going this way, like I'm showing that movement. And I'll start with the bathroom. Bathroom will require a little bit less brightness, but again, using hybrid log gamma, we can also lock our white balance. So now I'm in the bathroom, I'm locking the white balance with the A6600. It's part of the reason why I got this camera. Okay. Moving on to the master. So incandescent bulbs in here. So we got to really crank up the ISO a little bit.
You want me to take one out of one and put it in the other?
No, it's okay. It's fine. I'm just trying to get the white balance as close as I can so far. So usually what I'll do is I'll let this sit in here, and what it's doing is it's adjusting the white balance, and then I lock the white balance, because with this camera you can do that. Now I'll bump the ISO probably up to like 640 because it can totally handle that. And then I'm gonna come down here. Bathrooms are sort of easy. Sort of like that, and I'll just do one more just for good measure. There we go. So that's master bedroom, bathrooms, kitchen, outside, living room done. All right, so now you're probably thinking to yourself, all right, we're done, that's it. No, in order to make a good real estate video, you gotta have details. So after you do your main hero shots, that's what I call those are like the hero shots, then it's all about the little tiny details in a house. So you turn your gimbal off, turn the camera off, and if you don't have a secondary lens, then you don't have to worry about this. But I like to do this because I think it's what separates good videos from bad videos, or I should say amateur videos. So I typically use a 30mm f1.4 lens. Now I use this lens specifically because it gets really, really nice shallow depth of field in video, and it's like my detail shot. I call this like the finishing shots. And it also is about the perfect size of this, which means I don't have to like rebalance everything out. So we'll just go ahead. I'm gonna throw my ND filter back on there, so don't forget. There. Got like a whole gear closet over here. Get this out of the way. All right, yep. So, like, you already know because you followed me on shoots before, so you already know what's coming. So obviously the sink, you got running water. These are all like details that you should be filming for a house. It just really does make a big difference. Now again, I'm shooting in 24 frames per second, so there may be times where I have to jump up the shutter speed just because. The water? No, because I'm shooting wide open. I don't have an ND filter on here. And sometimes in 24 frames per second, like in a situation like this, we got a window behind us. We are getting a lot of light in here, but I'm also gonna lower it to probably 125, that's good. And I'll just jump up the shutter. Cranking the shutter is not gonna really hurt anything too terribly bad. Most people don't ever know. perfect. Great when I get it, it went first try. And then I like water. I think in video it's important that you have a lot of motion.
Yeah.
It's just, otherwise just do stills.
Yeah, the water looks better.
So, and the reason why I'm doing these shots specifically is that they will be the macro shots and we'll splice them into the video. So same thing for this one here. Now I just do it in a little reverse, so I'll wait till the white balance collects. Because this bathroom's like really bad. Yeah. It for detail shots. And yeah, that's really it for everything for the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes. The second part to this whole thing is I'll actually show you how to edit all these clips together to make a video out of all this and make heads or sense. So stay tuned for part 2 of this video. This is gonna be a 2-part series on how to shoot real estate, or at least how I shoot real estate. Just keep in mind, there's no right or wrong way to go about any of this. So if anybody tells you you're doing it wrong, it's all artistic and you gotta learn, and the easiest way to learn, make a lot of mistakes, make sure people tell you about those mistakes so you can fix it and be better. That's gonna do it for this video. Thanks, Johnny, for helping me film today. It was fun, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay original.